This is After the Flag. A warm welcome to the Circuit of the Americas, where we've seen a dramatic, highly dramatic Grand Prix of the Americas. Louis Suddaby and Simon Crafar ready to talk you through all of the key moments of the scorching 20 laps that we saw here this afternoon. A Grand Prix won by Alex Rins for LCR Honda Castrol. The first victory for the LCR Honda team since the Argentinian Grand Prix of 2018. There'll be very few people in this paddock who be anything other than delighted for Lucio and for that LCR Honda team. High drama, Pecco Bagnaia crashing out of the lead. A race of real attrition this afternoon, but a race that belongs to Alex Rins, who there's just something about this Circuit of the Americas that just brings the best out of Alex Rins. We saw it yesterday in the sprint. We were questioning, could he follow that up? Could he in any way match that result in the following Grand Prix? He bettered it.
Yeah, I think he pretty much was matching it, you know, until we saw Pecco fall. I just really wanted to know if he could hassle Pecco like that all the way to the end, because it was quite amazing. That's why I said on the live during, I could see he was losing, you know, the two slow acceleration turns onto the straight. He was losing a good 20 metres each time, you know. I think anyway, about 40 metres over the lap. And to make that back up lap after lap like he was doing, you know, like on the brakes and an entry and corner speed, it was phenomenal. And I just wondered, after seeing him do that yesterday, if he could do it for 20 laps. And he was, you know, I was just honestly flabbergasted.
Yeah, the pace didn't drop off Alex Rins, even when Pecco Bagnaia crashed out of the Grand Prix, and there was a little bit of pressure coming in from Luca Marini and Fabio Quartararo. He was able to continue that consistent mid-203 pace that was able to keep Marini and Quartararo at bay. Alex Rins, we've described him in the past as one of, if not the most naturally talented riders on the MotoGP grid. And a lot of people were concerned, understandably, when he, of course, had to leave Suzuki for understandable reasons and move to Honda. But talent is talent, isn't it? And Alex Rins once again proving that no matter what motorcycle you put him on, he's got such incredible natural ability.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of circuit that rewards that kind of natural talent.
Yes, and feel. I've done a bit of digging over the days, listening to riders and trying to find out how Alex can do this when the other Honda riders can't. And he has a different riding style. The reason we all thought that Joan Mir would suit the Honda more, because Joan Mir does have a more V4 style. He sits slightly further back, hard braking, slows it down a little bit more, fires it out, which is how V4 riders normally ride. Alex has turned up with more this flowing style, carrying corner speed, and it turns out that helps them because Honda has such a lack of rear grip. You know, getting that tyre to drive them off the turn. If you slow it down, stand it up, fire it off the corner, the thing just lights up. But Alex, by flowing, has masked some of that disadvantage and masked it amazingly here. And I know all the Honda guys have been looking at his data, trying to figure out what he's done. And Tucker, for example, gave the example of that he rides it more like Moto2. You know, just carrying that corner speed. And, what a job. I just hope that Honda can improve that disadvantage so all the Honda riders can ride it, you know.
And we did wonder whether Alex Rins and Joan Mir going across to Honda would be able to compete up against Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez, of course, not here. We know how very well he goes around the Circuit of the Americas, but Alex Rins proving just what a star rider he is. It was a race of real attrition today. Only 13 finishers in the Grand Prix. There were varying reasons for some of the crashes. We lost Jorge Martin and Alex Marquez on the first lap. Martin losing the front through turn 4 and taking out Alex Marquez. Aleix Espargaro would go down later on that first lap, but an awful lot of front-end washouts this afternoon. What is the reason that we suspect is the cause for that? We haven't heard from the riders yet, but your impression, what do you think was going on?
I very much look forward to hear the riders because they will tell us what the problem was. But in the early laps, I was wanting, it was too busy to come in and tell you, but my thoughts were to lose a few riders, 3 riders I think on the first lap or so. I thought this is a different feel. They're trying to get up to speed fast, and the track feels different for some reason, and they're falling. Jorge Martin, then Aleix Espargaro. So then it got further in, and it just kept happening. And to me, they're on the edge. There's something wrong. Like, for example, I spoke to a lot of the teams on the grid, on and off the live, to gather info, and they were all worried about getting the right front pressure, because yesterday it was very hot. Today had a lot cooler wind, and they were thinking, oh, maybe the tyre front pressure is going to be lower, which makes me think that they've chosen a slightly higher pressure and it's gone through the roof, and it meaning too high pressure, too small a front contact patch, and no grip. And I think we're going to hear that from the riders, because I can't think of another reason. And that we lose a good, I think, 8 riders by losing the front tyre.
We also lost the factory KTMs. Jack Miller was running in 3rd place in the early stages of that Grand Prix, and a competitive 3rd as well. He was matching the lap times of Pecco Bagnaia and Alex Rins. So as we look at KTM's weekend, we'll of course come back to the top 3 shortly, and we'll hear from each of them. KTM this weekend, this has never been a good circuit for them, but they showed plenty of potential this weekend. They just don't really have the results to show for it. Yeah,
I think when they get over the disappointment of losing Jack, because like you said, Jack was really fast. He was looking great. And I was actually on the KTM wall at the time, just because there was less people there and I could see their TV screen. And they obviously were happy, and Jack was another one of the riders that lost the front. I think after a few days of the initial disappointment, they're going to think that they were competitive here. First time ever. They got caught out with that front tyre, but the rest of, like many did, but the rest of the bike was working, So I think they have reason to be happy, going forward.
And every race that goes by, I guess it gives KTM hope that this motorcycle does work everywhere. Every different kind of circuit we put it on,
exactly.
We are competitive. The big moment of the race, of course, the next big hitter to drop out of the Grand Prix was Pecco Bagnaia crashing out of the lead. We'll come back to that and discuss that in a moment. Of course, he was pushed all the way to the World Championship last year by Fabio Quartararo, and boy, did he need a podium this afternoon. 3rd place for Fabio Quartararo. He's with Matt Birt.
Yeah, congratulations to Fabio Quartararo. 3rd in a really difficult race, Fabio. Difficult conditions. We saw a lot of front runners crash out. You had to work so hard for that. Your first podium of 2023 must make you really happy after what's been a complicated start to the season.
Yeah, really complicated. I feel happy, especially for the team. I think it will bring a lot of motivation, self-confidence for myself arriving to Jerez. So yeah, I'm feeling happy, and hopefully we can make a step forward soon.
In that race, when you're under pressure like you were from the Ducatis of Luca Marini, you don't have to be just inch perfect, you have to be millimetre perfect in every braking zone, every acceleration. That's so difficult to do over 20 laps. It was a long, tough race.
Yeah, long, tough race. I mean, we know our problem is especially on the power, acceleration, wheelie, so we have many problems, and I think in this track is, 10, 11, 1, 20, there's a lot of wheelies, and we need to make a step on that area.
When we saw Luca come past you, it's evident, isn't it? Of course, we know there's a big speed difference between the Ducati and the Yamaha, but it looked almost like it was MotoGP versus Moto2. That's got to be quite difficult as a rider to accept that.
It's difficult to accept, but most of all, it's difficult to be calm, on the straight when you see a rocket ship coming on the side. But to be honest, I was pretty calm, and that's a good thing.
A good thing, Fabio. Some good tracks coming up for you in the Yamaha. Jerez next, then your home Grand Prix in Le Mans, where you're going to get massive support. So you must feel that this result, after a difficult start to the season, gives you and the team a big boost, some confidence as well.
Yes, big boost of confidence for myself, for the team, for the people around us. So I think what's positive is, we are struggling, but at least to have a little bit of happiness in the team will be great after the celebration.
Enjoy tonight's celebrations, Fabio, because you certainly earned it. Great ride, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job by Fabio Quartararo today. After the pain of the sprint yesterday, crashing out of 6th place, he's on the podium for the first time this season. And he alluded to something there that I was going to throw over to you, which is so much for Fabio Quartararo is in the head at the moment, isn't it? Based on the shortcomings he feels he's got with the motorcycle that's underneath him. He said he was overriding on Friday, and just trying to keep calm on the motorcycle is something that he's really wrestling with, because he knows that he's got the potential to challenge at the front, but maybe he's not got the equipment to do so. But today he really kept his head and rewarded with a podium.
I think straight out lap time wise, Fabio on the Yamaha is competitive. The problem comes when he has to race the V4 because they use so much different lines. Like I was saying, the stop, start, and he needs to flow, to keep the Yamaha. That's the strong point of it. The other thing is that I'm going to disagree with Fabio, and I totally understand why he thinks that the bike, the power, the bike. I've spoken to a lot of engineers over the last few years, and they, the opposition engineers don't think the engine's slower. It's that the bike is wider, so top speed pushes more air. Okay, that's one. Then acceleration off the turn. The Italians have got the electronics, the anti-wheelie, and the aero sorted, so the bike can punch off the corner, the opposition, so much better. So Fabio just sees this bike pull away. He's mentioned the wheelie, but I believe it's, the wheelie, the electronics, the aero. He's running aero from last year, like early last year, And so what I'm saying is they're behind on lots of areas, and I don't think the engine's too far behind. It's everything else around letting it down so he can't see what his engine can do.
And do you think the problems perhaps that he was grappling with this weekend were more exaggerated by this particular layout? There are a lot of acceleration zones out of slow corners here.
Exactly. You nail on the head. It's because they're coming out so slow onto the back straight, and then he sees the bikes pull away in front of him, but he's standing up, and as soon as you can flow on, for example, the Aprilia and the Yamaha, if they can flow, they're as fast as anything. But when you have to slow down to like first or second gear and then stand it up and go, then you just see that Ducati just bolt.
So I hope that Fabio Quartararo will be perhaps with a little bit more of a fighting chance next time out in Jerez, a circuit that he's got such a good record at. Before we heard from Fabio, we were about to discuss the big moment of the race, Pecco Bagnaia crashing out of the lead. As you've already alluded to, there was a lot of attrition and perhaps understandable reasons for that, but that's the second Grand Prix in a row that Pecco Bagnaia has crashed out of either first or second. Of course, the reason he was in such a difficult position in the championship midway through last season was because he had 4 DNFs in the first half of last season. Is this still a chink in the Pecco Bagnaia armour? As good as he is this still an area of his game that he's still grappling to get rid of? Because to be fair, Alex Rins kept the pressure on, and in the end the pressure did tell on him.
Yes, Alex sure did. We're going to hear soon from Pecco, at the debriefs why he fell. For me, looking, you've got to say we lost, like I said, 7 or 8 riders to front tyre. Maybe there was something wrong there, like his pressure-wise, so let's give him that benefit of the doubt. Or he was slightly wide there, and there's a bump. And maybe he got slightly wide, hit that bump, and down he went, which is a clear rider error. But either way, Alex, with a slower machine, trying to make up that 40 metres every lap, didn't lose the front, managed it so well. So I think Pecco's going to be very disappointed, and disappointed with yourself is the hardest disappointment to take as a rider.
Yeah, and as a result, Pecco Bagnaia is 11 points now behind Marco Bezzecchi, who retains the lead in the World Championship. Bezzecchi finished in 6th today, which, given the way his weekend had started on Friday, a 5th in the sprint and a 6th on the Sunday will be a bit of a result for Marco Bezzecchi. Let's talk about Aprilia, who lost Aleix Espargaro very early on. They also lost Raul Fernandez, who pulled in that Grand Prix. But 4th for Maverick Viñales sounds a pretty decent result for them. But the way his race started, Maverick Viñales were coming in thinking, I had the pace to be on the podium today.
Yeah, and the team, that's what I'm thinking of. They must be pulling their hair out, because yesterday Maverick's start was diabolical, and he said it was not engaging, getting everything engaged, the front start device and launch control, everything that it needed to get ready. He was late and flustered and took off late, as I understood his description. And then today, he just obviously stood still when everyone else took off. And he said it, that he takes responsibility, this is last night, and needs to fix that. The team must be pulling their hair out, because he had the pace to go with the front 2-3 guys today, which is so frustrating if you just throw all of that away on the start. And it's not the first time we've seen this from Maverick. We saw it at Yamaha. So I hope he sorts it out.
Yeah, in the end, he finished in 4th today, one ahead of Miguel Oliveira, who returned to action this weekend, came through from 15th on the grid to finish 5th, kept his head while everything was unfolding around him and finished inside that top 5.
And you've got to remember as well, Miguel, this is probably his second race on the bike, right? I mean, really good effort.
Really good effort.
I think he's going to be, again, dangerous second half of the season.
And he felt he had better potential than his qualifying position suggested. One of those riders who paid the price for being in that highly competitive qualifying one. Oliveira in the end 15th on the grid, but coming through to finish in the points in the sprint, and of course 5th today in the Grand Prix. So a good weekend on his return to action for Miguel. Let's talk about our podium finishes then. We've already heard from Fabio Quartararo in 3rd, Luca Marini in 2nd, the first full-length MotoGP podium for him. Of course, he was 3rd in the sprint in Argentina. It must have been very, very difficult for Luca Marini, as much as he's a team player and a part of that academy, to see all the support and all the praise going Marco Bezzecchi's way after his victory in Argentina. Well, all the support and all the praise goes his way this time.
So true, you know, like your teammate is, as good of friends as they are, and they are genuine, not just come from the same camp, but they are close friends playing cards at night. And I respect, actually, that whole crew, how they raise their riders. And I think they're the most polished, when you speak to them, and their attitude, the way they handle themselves. I mean, Pecco, absolute gent, just like Luca. And I'm really happy for him. In Parc Ferme, I saw how much it meant to him. And he did it fair and square. In a race where a lot of people made mistakes, he was the biggest danger to Alex Rins, wasn't he? He was like keeping the pressure on Alex, and I was worried Alex would make a mistake, and then Alex didn't, kept the pressure back, and Luca gave it up. But I got to say, top job from Luca, respect.
What could this do then for Luca Marini going forward? He's always been there or thereabouts, knocking on the door of a podium. We've seen him on the front row before. We've seen him finish within the top 6 before, but that first MotoGP podium, just that knowledge in his head of, I know I can do this, but now I've had the result to reflect it. Going forward, is Luca Marini the kind of rider with the kind of machinery that can do this on a more consistent basis?
Yeah, so he turned up here and said that he has to fix his Saturdays because he always hits the ground running, competitive on Friday, happy, and then everyone else takes a step forward more than he does. And he said, I have to fix that here. And he did. He was happy with his Saturday as well, meaning pace. And then Sunday, I think his plan, they've got a clever crew around them, team manager Pablo Nieto, experienced people, and I think they've made the right plan. First attempt at fixing it, they fixed it. So let's hope he can keep that going.
Well, he couldn't quite rein in Alex Rins today. Alex Rins victorious once again in Austin, Texas. Winner here in 2019, winner again in 2023. Alex Rins speaking to Matt Birt.
Well, he knows what it takes to win here in COTA. He's done it in Moto3, he's done it in Moto2, he did it with Suzuki in MotoGP, but the reason Alex has got such a big smile on his face because he's now done it in Honda as well. Just your 3rd ride for the LCR Honda team. A special day for you, Alex, a special weekend, the team's 100th podium in the World Championship. Can you try and sum up your emotions right now?
I'm so proud because we did a great job all this weekend, but as you said, this is the 3rd race for us. And honestly, I'm happy because I'm creating like my base, and it's working quite good. Especially this weekend, we did it a step forward. Also, same as in Argentina. This weekend, a little bit more. So step by step, we are arriving. Today was not that easy because Pecco showed a really good pace. I was trying to reduce the gap on the first and second sector, taking a bit of risk, honestly. But then he did a small mistake. After his crash, I was trying to be fully focused because I find myself there on the first position with nobody on the front, and I say, wow, come on, let's do it. And yeah, I was breathing. I was keep going, and we get it. We get it. 100 podium for LCR, a team that deserves a lot because I'm feeling like when I arrived on the team, I arrived and they were waiting for me with the hands open. So I'm super happy also.
Alex, the key moment of the race clearly was the crash of Pecco Bagnaia. I mean, you put in a great fight in the start of the race to keep the pressure on him. Can you talk us through what you saw of the crash of Pecco at turn 2?
Yeah, it was a shame because we were doing an unbelievable pace. I don't know if we will finish the race with that pace because the tires were struggling a little bit. But yeah, he was. My thoughts are that he was a little bit more close on the line, and for the reason he crashed. But I don't know. I don't know.
And Alex, obviously a big weekend for you, a big weekend for the team. How special was it to come over the line there? You saw the face of the team and Honda as well. And maybe now, after what happened on Thursday and Friday, everybody in the team needs to get their head shaved.
Look, listen, for sure after the bet I did it on Friday, that I saved the head of one of my techniques. I say to the other two that I have, I say, now if we make a podium, you two also. They say, only if you win. So today I will shave his head.
And what about you? When are you going to get your head shaved then, Alex?
No, I can't. Already my wife yesterday sent a voice message and says, hey, we have the wedding in a couple of months, so please don't do it because it's a nice moment for all our life.
And just quickly, Alex, before you let you go and celebrate, what was a special day for you? There's some good tracks coming up for you, Jerez and Le Mans. This must give everybody, not just in LCR, but everybody in Honda, a big lift because it's been a very difficult time for HRC.
Sorry, again, please?
This must give you a huge lift, not just for the team, but for HRC as well, because it's been a difficult period for them. Moving to tracks now where you like, Jerez and Le Mans, your thoughts on those next couple of races?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we need to go into the next races with the same mentality, with the floors on with the fits on the floor, starting from zero, because it's like new for me with the Honda. So yeah, let's try to create again our base and let's growing.
Great show. I think the sheriff is back in town. Well done, Alex. Great job.
Thank
Congratulations.
You.
So confirmation, we will not be seeing a bald Alex Rins in the wedding photos later this year. Proof that there's a very good team atmosphere there at LCR, and I know he's a rider that you know very, very well. A rider that has got such immense natural talent, but a rider that I know you're very happy to see succeed. He's a very lovely, down-to-earth guy, isn't he?
Yes. He lives in Andorra, not too far from me. We both like going to track days where I get my kids out driving cars. He joins us sometimes. I've bumped into him, just to give you a little human side. I've bumped into him in the mall. I'm an experienced father. You know, my kids are up to 22 years now. Brand new father. And I couldn't believe how happy that little family unit was as well, which is a real tough period when the baby first turns up, and they were all genuinely happy. The thing about Alex is he, like most sports people in general, top sports people, have this bit of a wall where they defend themselves, you know, from the opposition, and Alex doesn't have that. He's the same guy, whether he's in front of the camera, in front of his teammate, in the about where he speaks in a moment, and or to his friends. And he's such a talent. He just doesn't rely on any of that. He just gets out and rides the bike. And got to say, I really admire him.
He rides it pretty well. Race victory for him today. Second for Luca Marini, a first MotoGP podium for him. He's with Matt.
Content.
Luca Marini, congratulations. Luca, your first front row this weekend since Mugello last year. You got a sprint podium already this year, but this was the one that you really wanted in a full Grand Prix. That's the reason why you got that big smile on your face. It was a very hard race, difficult to manage the bike and particularly the front tyre. So tell us about your emotions now, your first MotoGP podium.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There is a lot of things to say, but first of all, it feels fantastic. And really satisfied about my race, my weekend in general. And especially after the mistake in the braking after the starting the sprint, I would try to be careful at the beginning of this race because I knew that I was really strong with my pace. But when Jack overtook me, we lost a lot of time from Pecco and Alex, and then it was difficult to recover this gap that I had in the first laps. But when Pecco crashed, I saw that Alex started to make some mistakes, so I started to think on the victory also. It was possible, but the gap to recover it was too much. And then in the last 3 laps, I just tried to arrive to the end. Like you said, it was very important managing the tires, because it was really strange that yesterday in the sprint race, I completely destroyed my front tire after 6 laps. We don't know what happened, but maybe because I was starting 18th and trying to recover a lot of position, I pushed a lot in the front tire. So today I was trying to manage a lot the tires, and at the end I arrived in a perfect way. So I'm also really satisfied about my performance, my growth as a rider. It's fantastic.
And what did you see? Of course, you were behind Jack Miller and behind Pecco when they both had their crashes, their problems. I mean, was it really, really on a knife edge with the front tyre? Did you have a lot of moments yourself?
Well, I want to say that hard front for me, it was not the best compromise. I preferred the medium this weekend. But in the grid, at the last moment, I changed my choice and I put the hard front, because I don't want to make... I don't want to be the different guy. I want to be and compete with all the other riders with the same tires, because I know that all of them are very smart and clever, not stupid. So I don't want to make any mistake, say, choosing another tire. And I don't feel so well with the R. So my race was every time not feeling so comfortable with the front tire. But apart from this, the pace was incredible. So it was okay. Jack crashed. It was strange, because in a strange corner that it's difficult to crash there. So I don't know, but sincerely I thought that I was stronger than him and I could beat him when the tires drops a little bit. And while Pecco's crashed, impressed me even more because he's Pecco, sure. But I saw his line; it was very tight inside of the corner. And during all the weekend, he made turn 2 faster than every other Ducati rider. So maybe with the wind, it was a little bit tight, and they make the corner like 10 kilometers more faster than us. And maybe he was asking too much from the fourth tire. I don't know. Sincerely, we have to talk with him, and it's a pity for him because he's fighting for the championship and he has lost a lot of points.
Luca, a great start to 2023 for you and for the Mini VR46 racing team. Your first MotoGP podium, I'm sure the first of many. Well done today, Luca.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ciao.
Yeah, congratulations to Luca Marini, who you'll be hearing from in just a moment in the press conference. So Jerez up next then. What can we expect from Luca Marini and the rest there? Of course, it's a circuit that everyone is super, super familiar with. Very tight, very twisty, but also flowing. So what kind of picture are we expecting to see there?
Good question. I'm looking forward to this because here I think to beat the Ducatis was a too difficult mission, which is why I can't believe what Alex was doing. I think Jerez, it's going to be a lot more even playing field. I think the Yamaha work well there. I think we will see Fabio back. The Ducati works still well there, but the gap won't be as big. So I look forward to it. I think it's going to be more of a scrap. The main thing is guys like Fabio and that need to get the grid position, to get out the front, to be able to ride the bike they want. But otherwise, I think most of the manufacturers will be closer, more competitive.
Well, we can't wait to get out there to Jerez. 2 weeks' time. Make sure you're with us for the MotoGP Guru by Griffin Grand Prix of Spain. That's in 2 weeks' time. But for myself and Simon Crafar, it's thank you for watching. If you're watching us live, the press conference is next. If not, we will see you all in Jerez.